Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining the call. I am going to give everyone a few minutes to get in and join us. And in just a few minutes, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I am going to give everyone a few more minutes to get started, or a few more people to get into the training, and then we'll get started in just a few. Good morning, everyone. We're waiting on about 8 more people to join the call. I'm going to give them a couple minutes to join us so we can get get started with the slice of life distribution, the Whole Foods market training.
Good morning to you too.
All right, we're waiting for just a couple more people. I'll give them 1 more minute to join the call, and then we can get started to talk about what your day will look like next on Tuesday. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. It looks like the people entering the room has slowed down a bit. Thank you so much for spending the morning with me to get an idea about what your role will look like on November 24th. Slice of Life this year was extremely successful. We had a really wonderful group of our supporters step up and support the mission at Food and Friends by buying pies and making donations. And this is sort of the last stop, arguably the most important stop, with making sure that Slice of Life is successful. So thank you so much for stepping up. Things are going to look a little bit different this year if you volunteered with Slice of Life in the past, but I think we have some really great things set in place to make sure that you'll be successful. Let's jump right into things here. So just a quick overview on Slice of Life. This is our annual Thanksgiving event. We are really grateful to work with about hundreds of sellers, individual corporate groups who help us sell over 9,000 pies to support our clients. Each pie equals a day of meals. So with Slice of Life, we with those 9,000 pies, we're selling the pies to provide about 30,000 meals for our clients. So really, really important event. Even more so this year during this spring, we had our 2 signature events. Like all of our events actually had to be canceled this year because of the pandemic and all the gathering that was not safe. Slice of Life is a virtual event, so this is sort of the perfect this is the perfect event, safe event for people to support. Pies are pre-purchased starting last in first day of October, and they will be picked up November 24th at pickup sites throughout the area. Your shift is working with Whole Foods Market will be between 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. People will be arriving during that time to pick up their pies. So let's see here. The Food and Friends in general, we deliver medically tailored meals and groceries to people living with serious illnesses. Our clients and our neighbors in need are living with HIV and AIDS, cancer, diabetes, and 6 other illnesses that would benefit from a specialized or a medically tailored meal. And you can see those illnesses there. Some of them congestive heart disease, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, ALS. Our services are 100% free of charge. We deliver meals to everyone in the DC area and then out to Hagerstown. So all of DC, out to Hagerstown, Maryland, and down to Fredericksburg, Virginia. The services that we provide, our 3 main services are home delivered meals. So our dietitians and our chefs get together once a quarter, like once a season, and look at like seasonal seasonal fruits and vegetables, will come up with a really beautiful menu and and then we have 11 different sort of diets and plans that are unique to the client's needs, and we send out like full prepared fresh meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the meals come in almost like little they look like almost like TV dinners, of course a little bit more healthy. So that's one of our services. Another service that we provide is groceries to go. So for some of our clients who can, do some light meal prep, or also some of those clients who are living a little bit further out, since we have such a large area that we serve, we send them groceries. So that includes things like produce, fresh meats, proteins, also shelf-stable items like beans and rice. Just send them things so that they can prepare, a nice meal for themselves, something healthy as well. And because we believe in providing a full, full circle service as far as nutrition is concerned, our dietitians provide individual nutritional counseling to all of our clients. So they meet with our clients and make sure that what we're sending them is actually working for their diet and actually helping them as they manage their illness. In addition to that, our dietitians also do things within the community, like provide workshops. They do cooking classes. They were on site, but now they're virtual, and other different education materials. They send, come pull together recipes and include that in their groceries and things like that. So again, a nice full service, you know, a nice full service thing as far as diet and managing an illness is concerned. By the numbers, this year we'll deliver over 1 million meals to 4,000 neighbors in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. To make this work happen, traditionally we rely on 9,000 volunteers that come in every year, and they do everything from prepping our food in the kitchen, chopping up the vegetables, sorting the different meal plans, to doing our deliveries. A large percent of our deliveries are actually handled by volunteers, and also just working here in our headquarters, in our office. And they also include, people like you, our event volunteers. To meet this demand, we need to raise more than $10 million in 2020. And this is done through, private and public support, but also includes things like, our events like Slice of Life. Since the pandemic, I know that you guys are also, this is probably the same and true to your life too, but since the pandemic, just lots of things have changed. We've shifted a lot of the way that we do our work. For example, one thing or one place that has definitely changed a lot is definitely our kitchen and delivery operations. So a lot, like I said, a lot has changed, but just to give you an idea of what our chefs and delivery, our food delivery drivers have come up with. before the pandemic started, we would often go to clients' homes like 2-3 times a week and drop off their meals at their doors. And from time to time, we'd have to like actually go in and put it on their counters. And realizing that that is probably not the safest thing to do for people who are living with illness and likely have a compromised immune system, our chefs and our delivery operations team went into overdrive, like literally overnight, and came up with a brand new way to implement things so that deliveries only happen once a week. So clients will still get the same amount of food, but they're just getting massive, like really large deliveries. And that changed so many things. That changed the way we store food, that changed the way that how we prep our recipes, what food we use when we're sending and storing all of that. So yeah, that's one thing. Also, we saw that there was an increase in the number of clients that we serve. So for obvious reasons, like if someone has a compromised immune system, they don't need to be going out and getting groceries. It's very important for them to stay in during the pandemic. And doctors, if they had any patients that were facing sort of that challenge, they automatically thought of ways, organizations like us that can help. And absolutely, we rose to that occasion, said, yes, absolutely, we can help. And what we've seen is due to that is an increase in the number of meals that we're sending out. So it's actually a 15 to 20% more. We're delivering 15 to 20% more meals per month than we budgeted. Um, and and so yeah, it's been nice to be able to rise and help these our neighbors who are probably this is probably a really scary time for them. Another thing that has changed though with that is that we're doing all of this with less volunteers. As I mentioned before, traditionally we have about 9,000 volunteers, hundreds of volunteers a day that come in, and that just can't happen. Some people may not feel comfortable, some people can't come in, or their schedules have changed because of the pandemic. Also, a really big thing is that we have to make sure that our volunteers can safely social distance. So although our kitchen is massive, it can only, people can only social distance so much. And because of that, we've had to have less volunteers to make sure that, we're staying safe, we're keeping our staff safe, keeping our clients safe, just everyone who comes through the door safe during these times. So the good news about all of that is, we've not missed a meal. Our clients have not, the new clients that we brought on, our existing clients have not missed a meal. So we've been able to, just uphold that. But it has been a challenge. There also have been a few changes with Slice of Life. You probably seen me mention many of them, but the biggest ones have been, the pickup sites. As far as Whole Foods Market, they really helped and stepped in to sort of fill a need that for something outdoor, somewhere people felt safe. Also, like eliminating like multiple trips places. If someone's going to the grocery store during Thanksgiving, like they can just pick up their pie. So we're really grateful for all of our partners who are doing that, and to allow us like to do a couple different ways to pick up pies. Another thing is just the bakery use. Whist is an award-winning bakery. We're so excited to be working with them. But the best thing about them is that they have helped us streamline Slice of Life quite a bit. They have the capacity to cook, to bake, prepare, bake, store, and store our pies and get them ready for it to go out to our pickup site. So like, not exchanging as many hands or going through many businesses. That has been very helpful. And, they're just being really great about making sure that their staff is, screened every single day, and like having staggered lunches and doing everything in their power to make sure that food production is not, there's no question mark behind that. So yeah, lots of changes with Slice of Life, but I think that as we go through this, I'll tell you a little bit more about how this will just help Slice of Life be successful for our clients, but also really enjoyable and safe for you as well. So your shift, what will this look like? People who have volunteered before, volunteering at Whole Foods Market, especially also during the pandemic, it's going to look a little bit different. So let's jump right into it. You are scheduled to volunteer on Tuesday, November 24th. So make sure you mark your calendar. That's next Tuesday, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Triple and double check your address to make sure that your location, you're familiar with the location, everything, this is the first time that Whole Foods Market has been a pickup site partner. So it's, the address is different from where you went last year. So just make sure you triple check. As a reminder, you'll be stationed outside during the entirety of your shift, so please dress in layers. Plan for transportation for your pickup site. There are some Whole Foods markets that do have like a parking lot, but just know that you should plan ahead. Make sure that you have time to get street parking if you have to, because Whole Foods market is not going to validate any volunteer parking. There will be no Food and Friends on staff at pickup sites. You're going to serve as a slice of life expert in the face of Food and Friends. So, like in past years, we are empowering you to just provide the best customer service possible to all of our supporters. You are going to be the face of Food and Friends, and it's going to be up to you to make sure that the shift runs smoothly. I'll be here waiting on standby, happy and eager to answer any questions, but we want you to be the experts for the day. Remember to bring your charged cell phone and make sure that it's turned on so that we can contact you. So this is very important for Whole Foods Market this year. We're actually going to have our deliveries drivers. They're going to have to call you. So just make sure that your number is up to date in Volunteer Hub, and make sure they actually planned all the routes yesterday, and they have your contact information already. So if you go in and that number wasn't correct, please let me know so that I'll be able to contact you. And it's especially important for that first shift. Arrive 15 minutes early for your shift so that you can be briefed on the earlier shift's activities. When you arrive, you'll want to you'll want to sign in on the volunteer list. So just initial right there on the sheet, and sign your Thanksgiving waiver if you've not already done so. This year, you guys have been great about getting those waivers over to me early. So I'll likely reach out if you have not filled out your waiver, and if you could do it ahead of time, that would be really great. If not, no big deal. I'll send you a waiver that you can sign when you arrive and sign next to your check-in and sign in your waiver. Please wear the Slice of Life t-shirt or orange beanie that we provide to you in the volunteer box on site. So because you'll be outdoors, I don't imagine that you'll have a t-shirt on by itself. I mean, it would be great to have a really wonderful and light November weather, but in the event that it's not, we don't expect you to have that t-shirt on with no layers or with layers on. That beanie, that bright orange beanie, is going to be what our buyers are looking for in order to pick up their pie. For the purpose of communicating with fellow volunteers, please remain at your volunteer station throughout the shift. There's things that you need to update, things that you all need to be communicating about. So while you are scheduled for your shift, please try and remain at your volunteer station. Please do not leave until a volunteer in the next shift comes to relieve you. This is very important. We want to make sure that buyers, whenever they come to pick up their pies, that someone is always there to quickly hand it over so that they can, plan the rest of their day. So when you arrive at Whole Foods, at your station, you'll have a bunch of boxes. A lot of them will be brown, and there'll be one white box with green labels that will have that is your volunteer box. In that box are all the materials that you need in order to be successful for your shift. So let's go through what's there. Volunteer instructions. So you're going to have, essentially, it's going to be this PowerPoint, and I may also include one other thing. I'll get to it at the end of the shift, but volunteer instructions will be there. A volunteer contact list and sign in. So in the event, like I said, you'll initial next to the check-in sheet, and then you'll have a sign in. All of the volunteer contact information will be there. So if someone doesn't show up to their shift or they're running very late, you can give them a call to see where they are, to make sure that someone's coming to relieve you as well. Volunteer waivers, we talked about. A list of purchasers. So everyone that has said that they're coming to your pickup site, there will be a full list of the people who will be there. You'll have that. So it should be very easy as far as handing over those pies. An extra pies sheet. So each site will have extra pies of each flavor. I'll get to what we'll use those extra pies for, but each site will have extra pies of each flavor. You're going to have a sheet there that indicates how many extra pies you have. Throughout the day, as you use your extra pies, you'll be able to update it. So you'll essentially just scratch off the number and write in the new number of extras that you have. Text to give an updated pie price signage. So this is a little bit different from past years. We are strongly encouraging that people use text to give to buy any, make a donation or buy any pies on site. We want to, this is for your safety, this is for the buyer safety, this is just for ease, you know, of transactions. You'll have a text to give sign that'll detail how people will text a number, text a word to a number, be sent a link to fill out, and make their donation all electronically. Pre-filled FedEx envelope. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Slice of life t-shirts and pins, beanies, pins, flyers, end of shift checklist. So that last shift, you'll have some special responsibilities and some things that you need to take care of, but we'll make sure that we give you a checklist so that you are 100% prepared and ready to go. We'll have hand sanitizer, sandy wipes, and also extra face masks. I can't tell you how many times that I have like dropped my mask or spilled soup on it. And we don't want you to have to worry about that. So we'll provide you with some extras as well that you can take. All right, managing your pickup site. Whole Foods Market will provide you with a 6-foot table, 2 chairs, and 1 Whole Foods Market tablecloth. They'll let you know where you'll be set up outside. Each of you will have a contact person at your store. So when you arrive, you find that contact person, the store leader, and they're gonna get you all set up. They'll either bring your items out or point you in the direction of where you'll be set up. Following this call, I'm gonna send you the name of the contact person so that you have that handy. If I were you, I would just make sure that you have like access to that email, that sheet that I'm gonna send around, screenshot it, print it out, and just have it like, you know, in your with you. That way you can quickly pull it up and say, hey, I need to be here to meet this person. Food and Friends delivery drivers are actually going to meet you outside the store ahead of your shift to give you all of your pies in your white volunteer box. So this is a little bit different from what we've done in the past. In the past, you've come and the boxes of pies and the volunteer box are waiting for you. This time around, because we're going to be outside, we don't feel comfortable just leaving the pies there on the curb. So our delivery driver is going to bring the pies like to you when you arrive. This is very important specifically for that first shift. So that first shift, we'll talk a little bit more about like all of your responsibilities, but that's something really, really important to know. Once materials have been dropped off, you'll unpack your volunteer box and get organized. Find your buyer sheet, find your volunteer check-in sheet, find your extra pie sheet. Get organized and make sure that you're ready to go when people are there. When people pass by your station. I would also suggest that you organize your pie cases. Maybe put all the apple, pumpkin, sweet potato, chocolate, and pecan pies in one like little pile. That way they're easy accessible. Just like in past years, each the pies will be in what we call a case. It'll just be a big brown box, and inside the big brown box are 10 of each of those flavors of pies. The boxes will be labeled with the flavor of the pie that's on it. So it should be very easy for you to look at the brown box that has apple on it. Note that there are 10 apple pies in there. Please leave the box closed to ensure that the pie stays fresh throughout the day. We will provide you with a list of pies that are going to be picked up. So there will be all the buyers' names will be on your list alphabetically by last name, and it'll note which flavor of each pie people have pre-ordered and prepaid for. As people pick up their pies, you want to go ahead and cross off their names. So not only is this going to be helpful for the closing shift, but also this is going to be helpful for contact tracing and all of that. As pie cases are empty, so as those brown boxes are emptied, break them down and flatten them for disposal. Your store contact is going to let you know where to put them at the end of the day. So the last shift, you're gonna throughout the day, everyone should be breaking down those boxes. And then the last shift is going to find your store contact again and ask them where to put those flattened boxes. When people pick up their pies, remind them to properly store their pies when they get home. Extra pies have been provided to cover any damaged pies. So we're going to use, as I mentioned, we're sending you extra pies of each flavor. And one of the ways that you're going to use them is that there's like a damage or there's an error. So if someone comes up and they get their pie from you and they like somehow drop it, or someone runs over their apple pie, they can come back to you and get another apple pie, and you just take it from one of your extras. So if it says you had 10, you'll just scratch it out, put 9, and hand it over. Individuals are allowed to pick up pies for a friend as long as they provide. So anyone can come and pick up their pie for their friends. So if someone comes up, all you need is the first and last name of the buyer to get the pies. We don't need to see IDs. We don't need to see confirmation emails or order numbers. All they need is the first and last name to pick up a pie. For anyone who's purchased that sea salt chocolate chess pie, they are automatically entered to the raffle. We'll let them know after Thanksgiving if they have won. There's no ticket or anything like that. So if anyone asks, you can let them know. Site captains. So our regular volunteers or veteran slice of life distribution volunteers have stepped up as site captains at some of the places, some of our pickup sites. And what that means is that they are just comfortable sort of just making sure that, any questions that are had, they're comfortable with like stepping up and saying, okay, this is what we should do. They will also, be responsible for making sure everyone's checked in, everyone has their t-shirt, make sure that all of the volunteer waivers are signed. They're just there sort of as the lead, just because they are a regular volunteer and they know about sites of life. So if you're nervous or anything like that and you have a site captain on with you, you can kind of look to them for guidance. All of the shifts do not have site captains. That's fine. All of you are expected to be the captain and know the ins and outs of slice of life and be the expert, so that's not a problem. But just so you know, some of the pickup sites do not have site captains. Just another sort of reminder around your outdoor shift and just prep and extra things to think about. Remember that since you'll be outside for the entirety of your shift, dress in layers. We'll bring gloves. Just make sure, again, that you're going to be as comfortable as possible. Your station will be covered to account for possible inclement weather. We don't expect you to be out in the rain giving out pies, so just know that we got you covered. Should you need to use the restroom during your shift, Whole Foods Market is fine with you going inside the store. Do not give out pies inside the store, and be sure to promptly return to your volunteer station. So if you have to use the restroom, they've said that's totally understandable. Just go right in, pop in, use the restroom, come back out. Remember to stay 6 feet away from guests and passersby. Again, you guys are used to this already, but another little reminder there. So we talked about the morning shift and the closing shift having some special responsibilities. So I want to get into that. When you arrive at 7 a.m., you should immediately find your store contact and get ready for the arrival of your pies and volunteer box. So you get there at 7, you park your car, get there, walk in, look for your store captain. They will provide you with that. They will either already have it set up and point you in the direction of where of where your table and all that stuff is. Or they will say, okay, I'm here, here's your I'm going to bring out your 6-foot table, your 2 chairs, put a tablecloth over your table. I think they're also going to provide you with a poster, but it's very important that as soon as you get there, you find your store contact so you can get ready for the arrival of your pies and your volunteer box. Also, you will then wait for Food and Friends. This is not here. I'll add that in before I send it back to you all, but you send this email, this PowerPoint to you. You'll also want to make sure that you get ready for a call from our delivery drivers. Our delivery drivers are amazing and they're going above and beyond. They're serving as our drive-through captains. So it's important that they can promptly get in contact with you to drop off the pies so they can finish the rest of their deliveries and get to the get to the drive-through station before they start. So they'll reach out to you. They all have your phone numbers. They're going to say, hey, where are you? I'm this many minutes away. I'm here. I'm going to bring your pies in your volunteer box. So they'll find you and drop that off for you at the front of the store. If they get there before you, just have them drop. If they get there before you, you can just have them drop the pies. I think I'm frozen here. Okay. If they get there before you, you can just have them drop the pies for you. And then your store contact can help you get set up. They'll provide you with like a cart and all that to get you if they need to move your pies. But again, just wait for that call from our delivery drivers. Since buyers will not arrive to pick up their pre-purchased pies until 11:30, your main responsibility that morning shift is setting up your station and selling pies. It's going to be, you'll have a good amount of things to do. You'll have to find your store contact. You'll have to make sure your station's all set up. You're receiving pies. You're organizing. So you'll have a good amount of things to do. But after that, go ahead and start selling pies. Like I said, people will not, there are a couple buyers who have said like, oh, I want to get an extra pie. And I told them like, oh yeah, go talk to our Whole Foods Market volunteers. They're going to hook you up. So they may come, but buyers are not expected to come to pick up their pies until 11:30. Okay. On that note too, I wanted to mention if someone does come early and say, hey, like I thought we couldn't come get our pie until 11:30. I want to pick it up. Feel free to hand it over to them. That's totally fine. Brown cases of pies are stickered with, like I said, the brown cases are stickered with the flavor included on each box. So it'd be very easy for you to know which pies are which and to organize them and get everything ready for your shift. Take a moment to make sure that you have each of the pies easily accessible. We talked a little bit about that. And again, can't stress this enough. Leave all the pies in the boxes. Don't take them out and inspect them. Don't remove like the label or like open them up. Just leave them right in the case, ready to go, just to make sure that they're fresh. On-site sales and donations. Like I said, that first shift, you're going to start off the day strong with making sales and accepting donations and all of that. So we want you to sell pies and take donations on site. I think there's going to be a lot of potential for that because you're at Whole Foods and people are popping in and out. So, and you'll have a lot of foot traffic coming. So selling the extra pies that you have, asking people to buy a client pie or make a donation, feel free to do that. We encourage you to do that. Last year, people raised over $10,000 doing that. So I think that we can do even better this year. Like I said, with the extra pies before, one way you use them is definitely to replace any damaged pies or any mistakes or anything like that. The second way is going to be selling them. So every flavor, we have extras of every flavor available for you for those purposes. With each sale or with each use of an extra pies, it's so important to be constantly updating that extra pie sheet. So if you have 10 pies, like I said, you use the apple, cross it off, write in 9. You sell another pie, cross the 9 off, write in 8. It may start to look a bit messy. Don't worry about that. As long as it's legible and as long as you are updating that sheet as often as possible, that is the most important thing. We do not want you to sell more pies than what's noted on the pie sheet. I would hate for someone to come up and get their apple pie and you've sold it already. So while we want you to sell pies, we just don't want you to sell more than what you have there. Please note that the pricing for on-site pies have been adjusted. So apple, pumpkin, sweet potato, and the client pies are $30. The pecan pie is $40, and the sea salt chocolate chess pie is $45. All of this information is going to be posted. You'll have signs with all of this as well. To limit customer and volunteer contact, we said this before, all sales and donations should be completed electronically through text to give. So it's super easy. We used, some of you, if you were volunteers last year, you may remember that we used this last year. It's very convenient. It gives you a receipt. It gives our buyers and our supporters a receipt automatically. They can confidentially put in their own credit card information. It's just the way that we prefer, again, because of the pandemic that we prefer. We're going to give you very few paper forms. Occasionally, maybe someone will come out of the grocery store and like, hey, I really want to give you this $20, and that's totally fine. If they are demanding a receipt, they'll need to fill out that paper form. But again, we want to really, really encourage people to make their donations and their sales or purchases for new pies via text to give. As when people purchase their pie, they'll get an automatic notification. They can just show you that, and then you can hand over their pie to them. If someone does offer you loose cash, like I said, try to encourage them, like, oh, thanks, like, we want to be able to safely social distance, so would you mind like texting this number? If they insist, we don't want to turn down money or anything like that, because it's helpful for our clients. So you'll have the FedEx envelope there. You can have them like drop it directly in there. Okay. Managing your pie pickup. So buyers have been instructed to look for you outdoors to pick up their pie, so they know you're going to be outside. Please note that Whole Foods Market has strong safety measures in place to ensure the safety of you, of the customers, of everyone. So just another reminder that Whole Foods is going above and beyond to make sure you're safe. When handing pie over to customers, place the pie on the table for customers. So you can kind of see this volunteer here. She's about to place it on the table, so then the customer can stay 6 feet away from you. Be sure to hand sanitize and wipe down surfaces frequently. The closing shift. So closing, you'll have there's a midday shift. You guys will be out there giving out pies, also selling pies, doing your thing. Then the closing shift is going to come in, and you guys have some special responsibilities as well. At 2:30 p.m., you're going to call all of your customers who have not yet picked up their pie. So like I said, as people pick up their pie, it's so important to scratch them off the list. That way, when the closing shift volunteers get ready to make those calls at 2:30, they know who to call. So at 2:30, you're going to call all the customers who have not yet picked up their pies. Remind them that your location closes at 3:30. So after 3:30, they will not be able to pick up their pies at Whole Foods Market. They'll have to come to Food and Friends the next day and pick their pie up from me. Again, this is just a courtesy call. Do not feel like you have to wait around and hang out till 5 o'clock because someone doesn't have time. We've sent reminders and let people know, like, hey, you have till 3:30. This is the day that you have to pick up. So this call is another reminder to them. I'll have a script and everything available for you so you can quickly make those calls. The plan for the extra pies. So that closing shift, get ready to plan for those extra pies. Whole Foods Market is really wonderful, and they've actually arranged for these pies to be donated to a food rescue place. At 3 p.m., you'll find your store contact again and get directions on where to leave the leftover pies for donation. All right. Packing up and check-in preparation. So find the checkout checklist we provided you and follow the instructions. You'll put all the paperwork, anything you've written on, any cash, anything that you receive into that FedEx envelope and get ready to seal it and send it off to FedEx box. At 3 o'clock, we'll begin. Please begin to prepare yourself for the closeout text messages. So each of you is going to be assigned to a different Food and Friends staff member to text at 3:30 when the shift is over. We're going to ask you some questions around, like, how did your shift go? We're going to ask you to let us know how many pies are left over, a few other things. But again, a Food and Friends staff member is going to be available and ready and waiting for that for that text from you. At 3:30, you're going to want to throw away any leftover volunteers materials. So pens, flyers, t-shirts, any of that, we don't need it back. You don't need to try to put it in the FedEx envelope. You can keep it yourself, but we don't need those back. So you can just toss those. One thing that I wanted to mention too here, just keep in mind that as you are sending that closeout text, there are a few other volunteers that are trying to text each of our staff members. So just give it a couple minutes. We'll let you know once once we receive the text, we'll let you know, like, you're good to go. We'll give you any extra directions. Just wait to hear from us before you leave. Problems or questions? So like I said, you all are the experts of slice of life. We empower you and we encourage you to make those decisions, provide wonderful customer service, and make those decisions. So any minor issues that come up, like for instance, if someone comes and they're like, oh, I was gonna go to my drive-through spot, but I decided to just come here since I'm here getting my Thanksgiving, can I just get my my pecan pie? Yes, absolutely. Again, provide good customer service. One pie is not a big deal. Give them their pie. Update your extra sheet. If there are any major issues, like if someone is coming and they say, I'm here to get 30 pies. Teresa told me that I can pick them up. I know my name's not on the list. Um, you don't want to hand over those. You probably don't even have 30 extra pies to give. So anything major like that, give me a call. Like I said, I am waiting in the wings. I want to make sure that your shift is successful. I want to make sure that, you know, all of our supporters have their pies just in time for the holiday. So any issues that come up, call me, or you can text me. Texting is actually maybe a little, I mean, you may get a quicker response from me just because I'll be like, you know, calling and checking in with a few other people. So text my phone and I'll be able to help out, and I'll call you if anything major comes up too. So in just a few minutes, I'm gonna unmute you guys. I'm gonna encourage you guys to unmute your lines. You can ask some questions, and you can also utilize the chat here. But I just wanted to thank you all for stepping up. And this has been a really, really challenging year for all of us. I mean, I can't imagine how many people have been like tired of hearing the word pift and pift, pivot and shift. But I know that you know, we're all getting through this together, and I can't even imagine how some of our clients feel. It's probably a very, like I said, a very scary time for them, and you guys are stepping up to make sure that slice of life is a success, which in turn really, really, really benefits our clients. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. I can't be, you know, 35 different places at one time, so please know that you're really appreciated. If you, like I said, I'll encourage questions in just a few minutes. We can get some questions going in the chat. But if you have questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out. I'm glued to my email anyway in the next few days. So I'm more than happy to, you know, if any concerns come up or, you know, if anything at all comes up, reach out to me and I'll respond to you immediately. All right. So does anyone have any questions? I'm going to turn my screen share off here. Any questions at all from anyone? Nothing? All right, so I thank you again. Oh, okay. Sasha?
Yeah, I just want to say this was very informative because, you know, sometimes you volunteer and you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You
That's
just
my
show up
nightmare,
here.
Sasha, for you guys.
Right. So
So
I appreciate
I
it.
really, and it's important. I mean, I just, and especially this year, I know that it's different if you've come to volunteer before, and sometimes it can be, I mean, you're, like I said, it's you're out there, you're the face, you're Food and Friends, but if you don't know what you're doing, like, that's not, you know, that's not encouraging. I want you guys to be comfortable. That's why I said, if you have questions, just let me know. All right. Okay, so like I said, at the end of this call, I'm gonna send, and when we hang up, I'm gonna send this, it'll probably be a few hours, but I'm gonna send the training. I'm gonna send this, I'm gonna update some things in the PowerPoint and send your way. I'm also gonna send you your contact list. So just keep that handy so that when you arrive at Whole Foods, you can know who your contact is for the day. You guys are so nice in the chat. Thank you so much. Y'all take care. Have a good rest of the day.